All right. So, with all further delay and all further considerations, how is everyone? Everyone's good. We're mostly good. We've survived our doldrums of our day and doldrums of our week. We have an understanding as to where everyone is. And we have my heartfelt thanks for all of the moments that have gotten us here. Because there is such a heavy moment ahead of us, if you guys are amenable, we will forego any questions, suggestions, hypotheses, corners that need to be rounded off, and dive right into our scene already in action. Officially, this is Soup City Sins, Season 12, premiere episode 1, Sitting Ceremoniously Like Tomb. When we last left our coterie, they managed to collect, capture, and stymie Redwood, the hunter, with reason, Kindred, the Black Baylor, with justifications, Kindred, the less than careful handler of Kindred pay, and the very real facet that they are a secret community. And standing before the city government, the coterie stands with Redwood in tow. Hestia having offered, in response to Sovereign's question, a properly served tennis ball of placing the responsibility and choices solely on the government. As Sovereign looks over his glasses before adjusting them to properly sit on the bridge of his nose, looks out into the distance a moment and turns back. Okay. That's not exactly what I was aiming to understand. This Kindred here, Clyde, I believe he's called, Parolo, the accent was a little difficult to muster through, but so that we are clear, the issues at hand. There is the violation of the Tremere Chantry. There is the death of a member of the Primogen. There is the assault on a member of the local law enforcement and their death, as well as the violation of domain for one of our notable Nosferatu. And most glaringly, and this is the crux of it all, unfortunately, Mr. Parolo was unable to verify whether the hitherto yet unknown Kindred, the Latinx female who has violated our agreement with the notable Kata contingent, whether they are actually one of your coterie. The information provided by Mr. Parolo does verify that they were a formerly living individual at the behest of one of your members, a ghoul, if you will. So those are the actual matters, and that's what's important here, because there's several instances of crossing the very lines that you all were given lenience for having already done so. So your statements on that, your stance on those issues takes precedent here and now, because, well, we are a gathering of lawful individuals, and the laws and the rules are what separates us from those animals in the wild. They help us be as close to human as we possibly can, and well, we're not exactly human. We are still privy to those same emotions and drives, so if you will, it's one of those situations where that's far more important, because the flouting of the traditions, as I'm sure you're aware, are the tent poles upon which our society are built. Do you have anything that we should consider in regards to these issues first and foremost? Yes, Miss Green. We understand that you're the relative de facto leader since the abandonment of your coterie by Mr. Orm, and those are the that's the crux of it, I believe. The floor is yours. If you have anything to add, I'm sure that I and all of us would be more than happy to hear you out before considering what value to place on each of those things.
Yeah, schools her face, still keeping it very neutral, looking very quietly at Lucio, and seeing as how Melinda was not there for most of the things that Clyde has mentioned, doesn't quite worry about where their thoughts on this are. But yeah, locking eyes with Lucio and kind of lifts a brow as to ask, do you trust me? What do you want me to do? Or do you have anything to say about this?
Trust you on this. If I have anything to say, I'll say it.
Okay. She looks back to the person speaking. Well, I would also like to point out that Miss Cross was not present for most of these instances that our former coterie member Clyde was here for. She never got to meet him. He was long gone by the time she arrived, so she is fairly innocent of most of the things that were brought forward. As for the things that you mentioned, which are more important and you would like answers to, of the things that were mentioned, many of them were very much his doing specifically, that we had no knowledge of until after the fact. The burning of the chantry we had no clue of until it was already done, and did our best after the fact to not only bring him to justice for this, as well as help repair the damage done. We had no knowledge of his plans or means in doing so. As far as the Latinx female that he knows nothing about, again, he was not quite present for that. They came somewhat after him, so the information he might be willing to offer or have offered, it's probably incorrect. But no, they were a ghoul at first, and knew some of our goings on and actions, but when they were created or turned, their agency somewhat became their own, and we're left playing catch up again, unfortunately. And that is one of the things I further mentioned that we want to handle as part of things we need to tie up. Going back through the things you mentioned, sorry. It's been a very long evening. Chantry House I mentioned. the lines crossed by Ghoul. Yes, got that one. I looked at Lucio. What else did he ask about?
Mr. Mr. Sovereign, if you would care to repeat the list of charges again.
Of course. I understand. These are excessively trying times with everything that is up in the air and the exchange of information being solely confused. The issue with the Chantry is well, it's well founded that the Tremere have lost a lot of irreplaceable matters there. Something that could potentially be settled or worked out with them. We understand that that's something that you all are not solely privy to, thanks to your revelation that Mr. Perello will predominantly act alone in that regard. We understand that. He did mention that, but it's hard to say that any member of the coterie is in fact alone, especially when such a notable former regent is amongst your number. So, it's the greatest of these all. If we're going to go in regards to order of operations, it would be the killing of Primogen Newberry and the antagonizing and potentially shattering of the contract between us as the Camarilla and the family, the Hakata there. They have a gripe which stems from, thanks to your admission here, from an illegally created childer, and that therein lies the predominant issue with the Hakata, because that can be solely placed on the random rampant child, of course. However, the creation of the child. Just so that we're clear, you hadn't received a plenary indulgence from Prince Jackson and given the okay by the government to go ahead and add to our population, especially considering that we're under a burden with several potential threats to the masquerade itself.
As I understand it, this childer was the late Dizzy's, and shortly after Dizzy's death, she left us to pursue her own vendetta, which evidently turned out to be against the Castiglione family. We weren't privy to this until later, when she decided to call me and gloat about it. As for any question as to whether or not she is a member of our coterie, I can assure you she is not. My ghoul has the bullet hole in his chest to prove it.
I'm sorry. I understand the value of the damage of resources. Would you happen to have a picture? Or are the ghoul present? Maybe their body to verify your statement in regards to them attacking your property.
We could get a picture if we don't have one already. I turn at this point to Sophia. By any chance, did you or Silvio take a picture?
No, we did not. I did not see a reason. However, if the court would be so satisfied, I am Miss Sophia Rossi of the Clan Hakata, and I can assure you that what he says is true on this matter with his ghoul and the bullet hole and from whom it came.
Miss Green, we have two witnesses that this childer of your coterie, Dizzy, This Dizzy, they were a member of your coterie. They were just recently here in Elysium with the wolf pack there, and well, we understand that kindred have their own minds, of course, and well, here's the thing. Prince Jackson, and I'm speaking directly from one of his quotes in regards to this matter. He unfortunately is away on other business that could not be postponed. And with that, he pauses, reaches into his jacket, rifles through a few papers, unfolding them. I'm not very good with accents, so I'll just read this. Kindred of the government at the shelter, and all parties gathered. These kindred are and should be held accountable for all of the crimes listed against them. Unfortunately, in their service, they have proven that they are more valuable in one piece. As such, preempting all further punishments until as a time where their value is not outweighed by their crimes. We will extend their sentence of service, including all members duly noted, recognized, and affiliated, starting with their continued service to the Chantry. If you should find this discourse amenable, a simple "I" will do. Now, he did outline this and jotted this down for this meeting with extenuating circumstances. So, of course, it is up to a vote, but your say-so in regards to their transgressing our traditions, even incidentally, by not bringing in their associates. They're flouting the rules. They're unfortunate that, unhelped by them, their fame amongst the outspoken fringe set. And while our prince had spoken, the vote is to us all, and I, holding the prince's vote in this regard, I can't say I. However, I am duty bound to not say nay. So this is a vote of no confidence in regards to the prince and myself, and the matter is to you all. But of course, you, the shelter, have to stand and account whether this is amenable to you all as well. First and foremost, because it may be something that you're not really in the mood for. You did mention that you would have other things that you'd like to attend to. Well, I'm sure that those things are not exactly service to the city as a whole. Are they?
May I ask a poignant question before we continue this? You mentioned that we were neglecting to bring in our coterie in regards to some of the charges here, but I would like to ask, how exactly do we bring a corpse to a trial? Dizzy was dead by the time we found out what had happened, and Vivi was off on her apparent rampage.
It's funny you should mention that. And then he looks over to Dusable. And Dusable looks down at the table in front of him, unclasps his hands, and sits his cane against the very edge of the table. And he looks directly at Hestia. And then he claps. And the body that is Clyde begins dusting. As the last bit of carbon that was the immortal Mr. Parolo, he for whom every risk was almost just the right price when it came to defending his family falls into nothingness. Those of you who have the opportunity of having already had on your Oblivion sight or sense the unseen would realize that it was held together by the binding of a soul. And not just any soul, the last little bit of soul that was left in the Vitae that was the former kindred known as Mr. Parolo. And it's the last bit of what the body was. Dust into nothing, leaving only the clothing and the would-be shackles. The soul begins to fade, rising from the chair and turning its smirk, sifting away into absolutely nothing. There, as well, I'm sure. Yeah, the presentation was a little bit dramatic. Thank you, permission disable as always. But as you see, there's always a way.
Well, if the Tremere are amenable to teaching myself and the other members of the coterie how to perform such a ritual, I'm sure the next time that such a situation occurs, or the next time that a criminal kindred must be captured, we will perform this ritual to bring them in for questioning before disposing of them. That is, of course, if the Tremere are willing to part with such a secret. Otherwise, I don't see how this would be useful.
If I may, Seneschal Sovereign. Mr. Darcy, we have exchanged several times spent together. I can assure you that Miss Green has every means of contacting me. Should you need our service, as good upstanding hounds, the Tremere will support you. Isn't that correct, Astra? Permission disable that. Well, we do have to abide by a certain decorum as the prince's proxy and the seneschal of the government. I should be the only person speaking directly to the accused and keeping things flowing in a professional, business-like manner. That seemed a bit personal. Is that Miss Green? You spoke that Miss Cross wasn't there from the beginning. Would you like them to be exempt from any potential agreements moving forward? Much like Miss you said Rossi. Member of the Hakata? Are you connected specifically with the Castiglione? As I understand, they are the head of the Hakata here in the city. Hey, yo, we're fucking right here. She's not part of us. She's part of the family, but she's not part of us. The issue is with us, not her. Oh, yes, Mr. Ignacio Castiglione. You haven't been recognized yet. Could you just hold any objections? The question was to Ms. Rossi at this point, but thank you for your passionate display.
He speaks mostly the truth. Not all of us are as low as the cockroaches you find on the bottom of your shoe. However, I am a member of the Hakata in good standing beyond.
Listen here, you little uppity. Mr. Castiglione, we understand you represent your father, and you can't speak for him in that manner. Would you be so kind as to tone it down? Because here, while it's a respected Elysium, we can and will take all steps to maintain a semblance of decorum. You'll understand that it's just the way that things have to operate. When we speak to you specifically, you may be free to engage and talk with me, but right now, the floor is Miss Rossi's.
So as I was saying before I was interrupted by the mortal, I am a member of the Hakata in good standing. I am new to this city and do not answer to the Dawn directly, but let's just say I am in good standing outside of Chicago, whereas you might find that the other company in here is barely in good standing within Chicago.
Hestia doesn't speak outward, but she's looking at Sophia and shakes her head no when she says the mortal. She's looking at her like no, and makes the like across the neck.
Okay. Well, you speak as being a good member of good standing outside of the city, and that's great and wonderful. So, as a member of the international community, or at least the non-local community, as far as you're concerned, the operations, I'm sure that you've been made aware, and you all operate much the same way that we do. Official members of the tower are respected of an equal rank, as it were, without a title, of course. So, while you don't work directly for or associate directly with the Castigliones, the value as listed here is considerable. 4 different blood processing centers and 2 homes of note have been violated domains. The resources have been harmed and put out of commission for some period. As a member of the family of the Akata, is this a fair assessment as to the particular value?
I would say the value that you place on it is probably correct. However, if I may, you cannot spit into the wind without getting enough, getting a little bit back on you, or however you say it here. I am unsure. However, I believe that this girl who has attacked him is fulfilling a personal vendetta, one that is probably well warranted. And I'm actually a little offended that he has made me and the rest of the clan look weak by coming to you for an umbrella to fight his fight for him.
I'm duly noted. We will consider that consideration. So the value is accurate, and you so succinctly stated that they need assistance, and well, it's more of honoring the non-interference agreement. The case that they put forward is that the offending kindred is well, technically nominally part of the tower, and so instead of potentially beginning a breach of contract, they reached out for us to handle our own business, and this illegally created child of Dizzy, correct, Mr. Darcy?
That would be correct.
And Ms. Green, is this statement as given by Mr. Darcy accurate? This former resource was given the gift of immortality without any official request, any official acceptance, and completely outside of your purview. Is that correct?
Outside of our purview, yes, which is why we have been attempting to hunt them down and handle it as we are supposed to as hounds. But the blackmailer became more important, and we took care of that first.
Oh, yes. The blackmailer, that's them there, correct? Do you have access to their network and the information that they've accumulated?
I sent that on to a separate hound. G, I believe, and gave them all access and information that we had gathered before we moved the prisoner here to face justice.
Yes. Sheriff Damien, this information is provided by Miss Green. Has that been verified by you? Is that the case? Damien stands up and wipes his face. Seneschal, Sovereign, the information as given is accurate. Unfortunately, the system that we were given access to imploded upon itself. The firewalls were turned inward, and when the system was breached without the correct passcode, it shut itself down. So yes, we were given access to the information. Unfortunately, the information was non-recoverable. Oh my. So this gentleman, this black man here, has the information in their head.
I believe that would be accurate. When we were taking him in, he mentioned the possibility of creating or reverse engineering a virus to not remove the information, but track who has gained access to it. Without any assurance of honesty or loyalty, we felt it was best to bring him here to extract the truth from him and gain some assurances before we allowed him any access to his computers again.
Oh my. You, blackmailer, human, mortal, kind. You may speak. I can tell you have several things you'd like to say, but to keep your matters respectable, because we will get the information. You can be assured of that. Just the opportunity to speak on your behalf. We're not monsters. At least not without laws. And so we want to make sure that you're as guilty as we know that you are. Do you have anything you'd like to say? No. Oh, wow. Okay. There's that. Sheriff Damien, could you have someone remove this offending stench from our proceedings? What happens next is there's a lot that we need to discuss, and it's clear that this person here has outlived their usefulness in this moment. Could you perhaps have them properly debriefed so that we may verify whatever we can moving forward? Damien nods to Wanika, who literally rises as if he is the judge, jury, executioner all rolled into one. Moving forward, you watch as Redwood's eyes open wider than you have seen them, even with him muscling through the pain in his knee. Wanika grabs him by the scruff of his neck and walks him from the chamber. I have ways. You can't do... And the door closes before he gets a chance to begin screaming and fighting for his life. Well. It seems that even in with quite a lot sitting on your plate and quite a lot that has been leveled against you, that you guys have been relatively useful, and I can understand why that the prince would speak on your behalf. He seems to like you all, and that's great and understandable. But unfortunately, we are, as stated, we have laws, we have decorum. So the prince is extended an offer, and we need to know whether you, as the remaining members of the shelter, would be willing to accept and abide by that if that is the ratified idea for the government, as it were.
We hear the full terms.
your term of service as hound would be extended, but instead of it being the 5 years, it'd be 10. And of course, well, it's of course considering the completion of the matters already on your plates, namely the rogue kindred running through our city who was illegally embraced, the repayment of their activities against the Hakata, and well, service predominantly and directly for the chantry, considering the actions of your former coterie member who attempted to engage in a terrorist action utilizing humans as suicide bombers of sorts.
Lucio looks to Hestia and says quietly, so hopefully that only they can hear. What do you think?
And of course, you understand that does whatever you decide, as we have not decided whether former Regent Cross is directly accountable. You all stated that they came along afterwards, but ignorance is not an excuse. So if they are party to and beneficiaries of any lenience that you all have received, they would, of course, receive the same judgment if so ratified.
All right. So, what does everyone think?
Yeah, looking towards the man that was speaking. I still don't remember his name. While I may be able to answer for both me and Lucio, Melinda would have to answer for herself. It is her life on the line, one way or the other, or on life on the line, one way or the other. So she should be free to choose whether she will accept this deal with us or not, and face whichever consequences come with it or not. That's all I have to ask with that. Other than that, yes, me and Lucio, and actually we don't have any other members of the coterie. Everybody else has died or gone missing or left. She looks very pointedly. Is Julian there? He's not there, I'm betting. Fucking asshole.
No.
Out of character. He looks for him like quickly. Has left for greener pastures, I guess. That was what we were hoping for, to finish our duties as hounds and continue to prove ourselves useful in this city. So that is the offer that is on the table, us being given the chance to do that until we are no longer useful. Am I correct? Or 10 years, whichever comes first.
So, Miss Cross, are you a party to the coterie as it stands, or is this a separate matter? We really do need that understanding before moving forward. There's several addendums that we'd like to address when we have the opportunity.
All right. I'm amenable to that agreement as with Hestia. Alrighty.
If You'll excuse us for a moment. We'll be right back. We'll leave you in the company of our hounds and sheriff and Mr. Castiglione. Have no fear. We will address that matter with the Hakata and make sure that it's amenable for all parties. But right now, said please, and we will be right back, and we'll get your understanding of things and how much what the value that we have versus the value that you have. We'll work that out. We'll leave you to yourselves and for a moment, and just but bear with us. We need to discuss a few things. He says as he looks at Critias, and Critias grimaces back, and he and Damien exchange a gaze, and they head behind the door.
So I take it Ignacio is still in the room with us.
Ignacio is sitting there and grimacing. He's wiping imaginary sleep from his eyes as he focuses on you all.
Is he breathing?
No, he's not blushed at all.
How far away is he from us?
About 25 feet.
And just so I'm remembering correctly, when we last met them, which was a while ago, I was under the impression that he was still a ghoul at the time. Was he a kindred then?
He was. The moment you all kept him from getting back to get his mother, you all got the videotape of watching Dawn end her existence. By that time, unfortunately, you having kept him in your clutches, released him back to the Dawn just as you all caught that videotape of the Dawn ending his life. Like Ignacio walked in to find his mother's risen body, Kindred, and his father exacting all due punishments for their attempt, for their duplicity, and for whatever purposes he needed 3 members of the Kindred to assist with. Ignacio died because he hadn't made it home 24 hours sooner.
Yeah, I was also operating under the assumption that he was still alive because that's how everybody had kind of talked about him. So she wouldn't have called him immortal. She would have referred to him as fledgling instead. So
I'm gonna be honest, I thought
I
he
still
was.
feel like it's fitting.
My mistake. But Lucio is actually going to... call out over to him. So, how has the nightlife been treating you?
Better than fucking been treating you all. You seem to forget. We know the dirt you do. We only bring up the dirt that you do to us as part of the agreement. So, you all want to, sidle up to this Jeep's ass? That's fine. But you know that there's a cost to doing business. And you're entering into business with one of the worst of us. We don't even speak their names as how bad they are. And you're taking them right into your bosom. How you know this ain't part of the old man's plan?
they don't speak our names because they have trouble pronouncing words.
No, we just have problems pronouncing cunt in polite company.
I'm sorry, what does Putanesca mean again?
Your mother.
Not my mother, your mother, pal.
My mother was a Tory, pal. Your mother, well, we know where she's at. We know who's using her as energy. We know about your grandma. We know about the things you do with your ghoul. You think that if no one's aware of just how close you two are, the dirty things you do. So you want to talk? Let's fucking talk. You want to air dirty laundry? Let's air dirty laundry. Namely, Do you know what they do to make each other? My time was bad. Your time was worse. There's a reason why you're not one of us, Lucio. But what they do to him, oh my goodness, it would make Pornhub millions of dollars. Not just what they do with the ones they actually care about. The other ones, yeah, well, if every drop that got flushed in Chicago was a lover, they'd still have more. And they're all cousins. Not that there's anything wrong with that, but you get what I mean.
Hestia's face could not get more mortified. She's like listening to this and just like face falls like this so nasty. Okay, are we done with the pissing contest?
Oh no, they like that sort of thing. So I'm just trying to help a buddy out. The shower is good for you, honey.
But
it's strange that you sit up there and argue from a position of weakness. Oh, Prince, please help me. Someone has fired bullets into my house. I cannot handle it on my own. Oh no, oh no.
You know the contract. We fuck with one of theirs, we could break
Hakata affairs, not Don Castiglione's affairs. I will bring it to the chamber. We will see what they say about it, eh?
Do you think they're different in this regard? Who has more?
I think they're very different in this regard, Putanesca. Do not pretend that you are well esteemed because you have managed to strong-arm everyone into submission in Chicago up to this point.
Oh, who has more god machines? Us or you? Come on, even you can't swallow that big a load.
They are still working, aren't they? Just because you came out the front runner early, we know how the story typically goes, especially with arrogant assholes who tout victory in the first play of the game.
A blowout's a blowout. Oh, I forgot, you don't know what real sports are. You only watch soccer.
Well, I will never argue about anything that has to do with blowing with a Putanesca.
We'll see who can do what, huh? Why don't you come off your high horse? We'll see who outfucks the other one, huh?
I mean, if you would like to go outside fledgling, we can certainly discuss it.
Oh, outside. Oh, outside. You know we can't fight. You know, that's against the rules. But I can make sure that your businesses are fucked. You can try to do the same, but you got no foot to stand on. So yeah, you want to argue, want to fight? Let's do this by the rules and watch you lose. Unless, of course, you got to cheat like you do everything else. How many husbands did you leave? All right, no one loved you enough to marry you.
No, I was busy learning to do this instead of being thrust into it by a fool.
I wouldn't talk about your grandfather like that, but okay, that's fine. We'll count it over and done with in front of the company. Why don't you come by the house? We'll have a real good time. Put on some masks, little leather jock straps. We'll see who outdoes who.
Do you own a Starbucks by chance? Because you are definitely grasping at straws.
You wouldn't have come all this way unless, of course, you wanted to be done the right way by family, like only you can understand.
You think that coming here was my choice?
Nobody else would send you on a suicide mission. But, you know.
Exactly.
Ash or grass. It is what it is. So you all want to talk, or you're going to sidle up to this side piece and, you know, fuck yourselves a little more? You do know what she's really doing. She's playing you guys against yourselves so she can get the prize, as it were.
yeah, but she also didn't hire human goons to try to crash our vehicle and attempt to kill us.
You already did. There was no attempt. There was a little prank, a pranky prank, and you can't prove that we were involved. You can't prove
Sounds
that I was
like you have
involved.
violated the agreement. Oh my God, you made an attempt on the lives of hounds? I think we should bring this up to the prince.
We should bring this up to the prince. They got in the way of a little bit of business, and instead of us actually killing them, we let them continue on their way. So Yeah, let's bring this up.
Who does Hugo belong to? We can prove it.
You just admitted it.
Hugo? Who was that?
Don't play stupid. Oh, actually, no, you're not playing.
Hugo's not a ghoul of mine. Hugo's not a ghoul of anybody. I thought he was like a mercenary, some street guy, right? The big guy that's been around for years before we actually set up shop here in Chicago. That has nothing to do with us officially. Come on now.
You just sat here and admitted it. If you think they are not listening to this conversation, you are the fool.
Yeah. Discord's funny like that. It leaves evidence.
The what? What are you talking about?
Oh, the Discord that he was using to, recruit in your Don's name? Some help? Yeah, that.
We can't even fucking touch electronics. What are you talking about? Lucio, how's your electronic touch going these days? You good?
Are you so stupid that you actually got our clan weaknesses mixed up?
He is very young. You need to excuse him.
No. Wait. Are you saying that I'm the only fucker that can't? You son of a fucking monkey.
Oh, no. Oh, I am so sorry for you, Ignacio.
You
But,
serious? This fucking jip. You son of a.
Wait, hold on. When you bite someone, tell me, do they scream?
In pleasure? Of course.
Oh my fucking god. Wait. No. No. That can't be.
What the fuck are you talking about?
There's no... Don's the one who sired you, correct?
Who else would it be?
Oh my fucking god. You and I might need to have a discussion in private after this.
I don't like where that's going. You're not my type, but maybe we can hold the conversation. We'll set up a meeting. Have a little sit down.
That sounds like a very good idea.
We are back in session. It was a very, very close vote as it stands. But before we pronounce a judgment, Mr. Castiglione, we understand you're representing your father and the family's in interest and the Hakata as a whole here in Chicago as the representatives of the agreement. You have a value for the businesses and the like that were ruined. There's an interesting suggestion that we have ratified. So, if you would, is there a value? A seneschal, right? So yeah. And he stands up, stretches, and looks like the cat who got the cream. The value is equal to a major boom. We understand that you guys use the prestitation system. It's equal to a major boom by each of them, just in terms of value. It's a significant incursion on our profits and our organizations. we normally will press for based on the system you all have in place. We normally will press for a life boon, but well, there's really not much we can do with their lives. Their souls maybe afterwards, but their lives it is what it is. So a major boon for each of them. I see. Thank you, Mr. Castiglione, for elucidating how you understand our presentation system. Well, yes, that's about the rough equivalent we have for value. A life boon perhaps maybe is a bit much, but a major boon we could definitely understand. Thank you for your time. We will forward the information on to your father. I'm not sure if he would like to know our pronouncement now, but either way, this is a Camarilla matter. And as you already stated your case, and we agree to that value, we thank you for your time. Just let your father know that the decision will be coming forthwith, and we will move from there. Thank you very much, Mr. Castiglione. You have a nice day. Wait, are you not going to tell me what? I have a nice day. Wait, you guys are supposed to, Mr. Castiglione, our business in the moment is done, and if you insist on staying, we will have to treat you as your reputation precedes. Please, not another word. We are done. Good day, Mr. Castiglione. His mouth opens and closes silently, no words coming out. As he looks from Sophia to the coterie members, it is clear that in his death, unlike his life, there, even with him pushing his luck several times before, that there is some grasp of reason. And he just nods and makes his way towards the door. His guard.
He's leaving. Lucio just shouts out one more time. Remember to call.
He turns to say something and looks past you towards Sovereign sitting with his fingers steepled, waiting. And he just nods and walks out, the door closing behind him. Miss Rossi.
Yes, Mr. Seneschal Sovereign, was it?
Yes, thank you so very much. You stated, and based on the behaviors, we are prone to believe that you are a member of the family of the Hakata outside of the city. As representative of a relatively impartial and hopefully business-minded member of the family of the Hakata, do you understand what a clearinghouse is?
It depends on what the context you mean it in, yes.
And you understand what a conservatory is, correct?
Yes, I'm familiar with that.
Excellent. We'd like you to operate in a dual role to act as an intermediary between our hounds shelter and the Hakata, the family as a whole. Predominantly, there's been certain allegations that were made by Mr. Parolo, and well, it's been verified for us as far as we're concerned based on behavior today. So we'd like to appoint you.
I think that could be amenable. I will have to perhaps at least mention it to those that have interest in my actions here in the city.
Of course, we understand. You all are prone and privy to your own political machinations within your organization. We're sure, and we take that in the obvious enmity between one family member to another, that you all will keep each other as honest as possible.
I will endeavor to keep the faction that controls the clan here in the city as honest as I possibly can. And if I may, before we continue on, I would also like to apologize on behalf of the Hakata clan that Mr. Castiglione has seen fit to have a representation here tonight that was a fledgling who may not even be of the clan. So I would, from the deepest, darkest part of my dead heart, I apologize for you having to endure that situation.
Oh my. Thank you, thank you very much. That's very, very appreciative. Very, very, very appreciated. Currently, members of the shelter, Mr. Darcy, Miss Green, Miss Cross. Well, the truth of the matter is, I don't like the reputation that you all have garnered amongst the younger members of the tower. I feel that it is very important that we behave as honestly and forthright as possible. And even while representing the prince, I was privy and prone to my own feelings of the matter, and I apologize for that. But thanks to Primogen DeSable and Critigas, certain factors have been made aware to me. And, well, I like to say, in regards to Primogen DeSable and Primogen Critigas and Sheriff Damien's glowing regard in regards to what you all managed to accomplish and what you might continue to accomplish if properly motivated. Well, thank you for the service that you've extended to us. By whatever means that has come to the service of the city, thank you so very much. We are sorry for your losses, and the pronouncement is death. The pronouncement is death. If you all fail in the execution of your duties going forward, there won't be any further defenses. There won't be any further leniencies. As of this moment, you all are privy to an official blood hunt. You all are on the city's red list. Provided any of your actions transgress those of a hound, there is an official blood hunt in place. Word will be spread via our harpy and across the members of the government and city as a whole. The moment you are no longer representing the city as a hound, you are privy to the full weight and enmity due you as per a blood hunt. So your terms of service have been extended to 10 years, and any transgression, no questions asked, no leniency granted, is an immediate cause for your exsanguination and divestment of all vitae in whichever manner those capable and able to will provide. I want to thank you all for your professionalism and abiding. In the interim, Miss Rossi will act as conservator for the duties as assigned, and well, the repayment of your value will come at the behest of the Hakata. You will be fulfilling factors that are needed until the major boon has been in fact repaid, and in concordance with your duties as hound. Are there any questions?
When their 10-year term is up, then the blood hunt is go into effect, or it will be based on their service in the 10 years?
It, of course, will be based on their service, but at the end of the 10 years, if they have not transgressed the duties and fulfilled all of the responsibilities in accordance, the blood hunt will, of course, be lifted, provided there is a successful completion of the term and all rights and responsibilities have been fulfilled.
She just nods at that.
Any other questions, or are we concluded as of now?
I have no questions.
Perfectly clear.
Estia doesn't say anything, but just nods her head in the affirmative.
Alrighty then. Well, I want to thank you. It's been positively lovely. There are refreshments on the lower floor provided by Primogen Triabel. Do make yourselves at home and partake of the appreciated Elysium. We do have several performers this evening. Volvad from the north will be representing flesh sculptures for us to marvel at. And, well, I want to thank you. The interrogations will begin shortly of your prisoner. But for right now, Miss Rossi, this matter of the rope kindred, if you were to able to dedicate yourselves, the entirety of the shelter towards achieving this, what do you think the time frame for corralling such an individual might be?
I understand she is very smart and quite crafty from what the assembled here have told me. She may be able to be lured. We have some thoughts on that. It has been something that the members of the shelter, as you refer to them, and I have discussed briefly while we worked together. Well, mostly them. I supported them to bring in the blackmailer. So maybe at worst case scenario a month, but probably much quicker than that.
Very well. We'll consider the matter postponed for a month for your completion of the task. And while that is working, the Sheriff Damien will be in contact with anything else that arises pertaining specifically to the new boundaries and battles taking place in our south suburbs. Again, make yourselves of comfort and hospitality of taking in some of the donors downstairs, and we look forward to being in further contact with you all very shortly.
Mr. Seneschal Sovereign, if I may have just a moment of your time in private.
Oh, that is highly irregular, but perhaps making an official arrangement might work. We do have rules for a reason, but I will make my most direct number available to you so that we can properly coordinate. Yes.
Perhaps your sheriff. It may be better going to him anyway, and he can decide if it should even burden your ears.
Of course. The sheriff is always at the disposal of the public, as members of as the hounds are under his purview, most specifically as he has been properly punished in regards to their actions thus far. I'm sure he will be looking for every opportunity to ensure that their further success reflects positively on him, more so than anything, especially being as he was offered the position directly from the hand of the prince. But either way, good day to you all, and have a enjoy. You all have a look. Goodbye.
You as well, sir.
It takes a few minutes for the bulk of the government to make their way out, mainly because of decorum and also because there is, in fact, a party being held by Annabelle on the 2 floors below where you currently are. There's grousing as the wolf pack make their way to the door. They were hoping to take part in a complete slaughtering, and the other hounds not used as backup and security make their way either to the party or to the interrogation. Damien waits until everyone leaves.
And then he closes the distance. I didn't think you all would. I think y'all would actually hold your own. Surprised.
Is it just Damien, or is there a surname I should address you by?
No, Damien. That's about it.
The matter I wish to speak with you about is they do not mind that they will overhear it. However, it has just been brought to my attention that perhaps members of my clan have attacked them outright in kind of, the two-way street. If he's going to complain about the rogue element shooting his house, perhaps they should complain about one of ours shooting their house, yes?
Yeah. We'd have, of course, running up the flagpole, considering how all of the games at play right.
Lucia with a smirk.
Very much so.
I wanted to bring it to your attention because it offends my sensibilities that he has come running to you over someone who is fulfilling a personal vendetta. He should be able to handle that on his own. You are not responsible for some rogue fledgling. It's my understanding that she was responsible to her sire. It is unfortunate her sire has died, but she is not yet a member of your organization, correct?
That would be correct.
Yeah, she wasn't presented, but if she was created with it, she was embraced without permission given, which, well, let's be perfectly honest, there hasn't been a supported embrace in Chicago in 30 years. And Prince Jackson has not, as of yet, given out the boon of creation to anyone.
It just seems untoward to me that your entire organization is being held responsible for something you should not be. I will let that play out. I do not speak for him. He is in charge here. However, I object to it on a personal level for what very tiny little that is worth.
Well, as a conservator, you're acting as a shadow. You're effectually, because Sovereign was in Prince Jackson's proxy, you are basically given full rights as a prince's shadow to the shelter to account for and accommodate the value lost to the aggrieved party, to a major's boon's worth of value towards the Castigliones from the shelter. That, of course, means that their lives aren't at risk for value. He can't lord over them forever, but there must be an accounting for the value, which you, as conservative and shadow, get to determine.
I will take that to heart.
As far as the blackmailer, and as far as the actions of Julius, well, I'll let you all discuss that amongst yourselves when we actually have an official get-together of the hounds of the city. I don't know if you guys remembered a few conversations we've had individually about my stance on the influx of hounds not chosen by me. That very much is what's going on. It has been going on. But we serve at the Prince's and the Primogen Council's grace. I only stuck around to let you all know. And then he steps in a hair closer so that his voice doesn't carry. Courteous and Desal will put their reputations on the line for you both. There's a lot at risk for them. Sovereign was manipulated by Ballard and Annabelle.
Hestia looks at Damien, and the first thing she says to him, again, also quiet so that it doesn't carry. I don't know if I speak for Lucio, but I know I speak for myself. And I tell you that I am wholly sorry for any punishment you may have suffered due to our actions. We would never wish to have you punished for something that we should have handled. As far as Ballard goes, well, we were hoping that you would ask the blackmailer where he got his information from. And she gives him a very pointed look, because Ballard's name keeps coming up in ties to this business and the blackmailer himself. Did Clyde tug you before he was killed the deal that was made with Ballard to keep from blowing the masquerade? That information came from the blackmailer. So I wouldn't trust Ballard as far as I could spit. But since he's so powerful, we couldn't outright accuse him in court. It would probably not go well for us.
No, it wouldn't, especially being as he is not simply a representative of the Blue Bloods. He has officially taken the seat as their primogen. So, Prince Jackson is rounding up support where he can, but there's Annabelle. There is Khalid.
I know Annabelle's probably angry with us because of our losing her friend. Hestia does not want to say his name because there's still anger and bitterness tied to that. The things she found out after his dying are weighing heavily on her.
It's a lot. But there's Annabelle. There's Ballard. Our Gengar primogen is mostly on the fence. Seems as if Orm is working his magic for her to be, or at least consider you all relatively fondly. So she doesn't speak directly against you, but she doesn't support you either. One of the reasons why the pound of flesh had to be paid, so you guys at least had a fair shot of things. But thanks to the showing here today, you guys have bought yourself 30 days for sure. In that 30 days, you all need to be exemplary, because I have no doubt that either Ballard or Annabelle will target you all, especially being as it's no small secret that you all were there at the Dalton Disco. It's no small secret that you all saved Urzuli, that you all saved Mama Waldy. Mama Waldy's in the wind, and Urzuli, well, there's even more so. Rumors have it that she's in the south suburbs, gathering strength to make a play for the permission seat here, which would protect her from any actions. Not that it matters much, but my suggestion, because there currently is a blood hunt unofficially for Urzuli and any member connected with the Dalton Disco, any member connected with the Cathari, the Lilans. So, if you all know where she is, she is members of her court. It'd be best for you all to stake them and bring them before the government so that you all have leverage and are gaining before Annabelle or Ballard make their move.
That's what you want us to do. We'll do it.
Well, the better showing you all have, the better. Just the better. Especially with everything being as it is now. The government is fracturing. You have your supporters, you have your naysayers, and you have your fence sitters. And right now, there's more of fence sitters than it is one way or the other. The moment that balance shifts, the agreement made here today will. Yeah, it's just as good as 3 tears in the rainstorm. But I have to run. Eat something. You guys look peaked. I'll see you around.
Before you go, I want to ask one thing. About that issue we discussed a while back.
Still being worked on.
I hate it.
I see. Keep me updated and let me know if you need help. Please.
Okay, because I was trying to answer your question, but it disconnected me. So I was asking, did Damon notice the weird eyes?
He does, but that's one of the reasons why he said, eat something, you all look peaked.
Yeah, see, I didn't hear that part because that disconnected.
When he makes his way out the door, that leaves you four, to your own devices. You have the room to yourself. And it is clear that they very much are honoring their whole no technology outlook handed down by Prince Jackson. Even the normally expected cameras in such an environment are not there.
So I guess it is on you all now to, how do you say, not to fuck this up?
Easier said than done.
Sags, becoming shorter than she even normally is.
I assume we will need nowhere near 30 days to bring in this, what was her name, Vivi?
Shall we make that our top priority for now? And then
Oh, yes.
Yes, your sheriff just said that if you do not deliver in those 30 days, that would probably be very bad.
I feel like she is our second, third, first, 50th priority right the fuck now.
As for your problem with the Don, you should have bought some time. His ire will come at me for at least the initial piece.
Thank you for that.
Did you see his face, though? His face, though.
You all heard what he said, right?
Yeah. Hilarity ensues.
How? How? I only made him a ghoul. How? There's no possible fucking way.
Wait, your blood was still in his system when the Don killed him, because remember, we sent him back.
I do not think it works like that exactly.
Oh no.
Fuck is he a La Sombra?
I don't know, but that is a thing I'm going to have, or attempt to have, looked into. I don't want to overplay my hand and act like I am some sort of giant important person because I am very small.
Either way, we still very much appreciate what you did. But I'm still wondering, though, because like I said, you had to give him blood after the whole torturing thing that happened before all this. And he was released with that blood in his system, walking right into a trap.
In my studies, the blood has to be given after he is exsanguinated and on purpose. If he is different, he suddenly become interesting to me because I would like to study him to see why that has occurred. But it would be very, very unusual.
I just
I'm
want to make sure.
too.
Just want to make sure he was alive, right? He was alive when I gave him the blood. He didn't stop breathing, did he?
Look, where I cut him, he shouldn't have stopped breathing. He was fine when we let him walk up the door. He was fine when I compelled him to leave.
Would you be so kind as to roll your wits plus medicine?
I mean, he was bleeding from his sack I imagine he...
I'm sorry, is what?
His sack.
Maybe that does not mean what I think it means. English is my fourth language. Do you mean he's yes?
She makes a motion like near his junk, like near the crotch, and just kind of like there.
Yes, gathering in the reproductive area.
Yeah, I kind of punctured a hole because he pissed me off.
Hell, have no sorry.
If that roll was for me, I got a 5 success.
If this is the case, the Don has to know. Seek has to know.
Then why keep him around? Unless he doesn't?
I imagine I imagine having one of those around is useful. Maybe?
But Don wanted to meet me for something. He sent Blue to have me meet with him. Does this have something to do with that?
Hesha, Melinda, would you be so kind as to roll your intelligence plus blood sorcery for me, please? Your DC is 3. And humans are not plants. And even with a nick, it is very possible, well, a relative nick being just at the itch line, with all of the many tiny blood vessels in the scrotum.
Hestia's face changes as she realizes that, like, hand covers her mouth. Oh no. Oh no. She looks at Lucio. So, the thing is, I keep that knife fairly sharp. It is also a spell blade. And the thing is, that kind of injury doesn't... If not treated properly, you can bleed out. Slowly. Very slowly. And after I nicked him, he was with us for the rest of the night until the next day, and then we left him, or let him go. So, there's a pretty good chance while we were sleeping during the day that he might have died and we wouldn't have been awake to know.
But again, that means someone would have had to siren him afterwards, right? You can't just rise spontaneously from being a ghoul as a vampire, right? Plus, wouldn't being a ghoul also help him heal that?
Well, you forget that you gave him the blood originally, and then you gave him more to help him supposedly heal the wound that I gave him so that he could go home. But if he was already dead and we didn't notice... or freshly...
The roll that you made for your blood sorcery, where it was twofold. I was waiting on Melinda's roll, but it was twofold. One, to recount the many exceptions and edge cases.
It was intelligence plus blood sorcery?
Yes.
Okay.
Okay, so you guys both exceeded the 3. So both of you all will be aware that while it is common practice, both of you all would know that while it is common practice that death must have a full hold on the soul, there is a grace period of the dying moment or the cusp of death where administering kindred vitae can and has embraced someone, where their dying isn't exactly completed. They haven't crossed over the threshold, but they're hovering right upon it. And
if the Don was aware as to there being a potentiality or a fact that Ignacio is not in fact his childer, the connection from childer to sire can be a potent tool to cast various spell work against them.
Hestia goes, well, see, the problem with that whole situation is it's not an exact science to create us as you would think it is. It doesn't need to be full death. Like that, body's cold. It could be the spirit hasn't quite left yet. The body's dead, or the body isn't quite dead because it doesn't recognize that it's dead, and the spirit's about to leave. So there's that transitional period of maybe a couple hours or so that can create a problem. It's happened before where people were turned or embraced when they weren't fully dead, but their body was all but dead. So it can happen. And oh god, wait a minute. He knows. Don knows that you sired him, and he's using it. He could use it as a tie to you because that's your child. The blood bond between you can be used to cast spells and do workings against you, and they will be incredibly strong because of the tie. You're holding Ignacio's life here by having created him, even accidentally.
You're a father now. Congratulations.
It is worth noting that those roads go two ways.
That's also true. I mean, so the Don may have been using it this whole time, but if we can get Ignacio on our side, quote unquote, by pointing out the fact that he is one of these things that's not like the others, we might be able to reverse some shit and, flip it on him. But yeah, you are dead. Not. Oh wait, you're. She leans in really close. You're your own half-brother's dad.
What the fuck?
This isn't even Alabama. And not even Alabama.
Enough. No. This can't be fucking possible. I refuse. I simply refuse to believe this.
I'm sorry.
Well,
But you are both
kind of figured it out.
both brother and father Epidis.
Silencio, por favor. Please. I cannot process this information right now.
I do not speak Spanish, sorry.
Oh my fucking god. Oh my god.
I never thought I would see Epidis in real life. Need here.
Here's what we're gonna do. Here is what we are going to do.
You're going to take your son to a baseball game?
Is it focused on Vivi? Because that's what we need to do for now.
That's the best idea. We are going to focus on Vivi. We are going to have our meeting with Ignacio later. If after a month from now, when Vivi is dead and ash in the wind, we will have Hestia check the blood and confirm that he is in fact not my child.
You owe so much child support.
Yes. I would love to do that. But I'm pretty good with blood sorcery. And I'm pretty good with medicine. So, yeah, there's probably not going to be a chance. That's the thing. So, yeah, we'll focus on Vivi. Because that's important.
And you might not like to hear this, Lucio, but I'm also literally a doctor, so. Yay, Papa.
I mean, if we're being technical.
You're...
Well, my doctorate is in anthropology. It's a little different than a doctor, but I said as if we are being technical.
I mean, if we're being very technical myself, it's mine is psychology. So, epithets.
I need a drink.
I'm a botanist.
I
Which
need a
means
drink.
I'm aware of how things breed.
I need the strongest fucking drink in this building right now.
Well, I was going to suggest we do not drink in this building. 1, because you will be ridiculed, unmerciful, and 2, because I am not dressed for it.
I think he's already been ridiculed.
Okay, I promise I will stop. It's not funny. You poor baby. It's not funny. It's a problem. But Vivi has to come first, right?
Right, let's deal with that now.
It's a little funny.
Agreed.
It is not funny at all.
I mean, I've never accidentally sired my brother, so...
Me either. Of course, I don't have a brother, so that would be very strange, but still.
So needless to say, as you all exit the chamber, are you heading out of the building, or are you heading to the party, which is below you?
I only have 1 dot in etiquette, and I think, let me see if I have any in politics. Hold on. I have 1 in politics, so should I roll to see if we would be making people mad if we left?
Yes, I'm considering, it might look bad in future if we don't go, but at the same time, it might be bad if we do go.
You are most certainly going to take a, how do you say, ribbing? Some insulting?
Most assuredly. Not once.
God, we have to socialize, don't we?
Not once. Not twice. A multiplicity of instances you all have skated by the skin of your teeth. You all have done the impossible. And as the saying goes, your legend grows. Especially now that, at least amongst the government, at least amongst the Privy Council, amongst the Primogen, it is known without a shadow of a doubt that you all are purposefully, singularly responsible for the disappearance, quotation marks on both ends, of Primogen Newberry. It is known less politely and less politically that you all are responsible for the death of Newberry. So it would be a hard, purposeful blindness to the fact at hand that the first attempt, your beating of Richard Newberry, was not an attempt to end him then and there. just for instance. Then there's your partnership and friendship with Urzuli and Mama Walden, and you being seen saving them. You will be experiencing a most decided ribbon.
I just have a quick question about that, storyteller. So does that mean that she didn't tell them that we killed Mama Walding, or that Disney killed Mama Walding?
I didn't know that.
No, what's her face? Alexa.
No, you seem to forget. They are creatures of their word.
Yeah, but she said we did it in self-defense.
Yeah, so that she could turn a blind eye and keep it from anyone else.
Oh, so that because I'm curious when he was saying that they're in the wind, I was confused. Like, wait a minute, she dead though. Okay.
Better to not bring it up than to lie about it.
Yeah, that's why I said I needed to know that so that I don't fucking accidentally go. But she's dead though. So yeah, no. Okay, now that I know that that was a thing that happened. So she looks at Lucio. I mean, one or two things are gonna happen. If we go down there and we mingle, they're gonna talk shit, and we're gonna have to keep a stiff upper lip and not lash out. Or if we leave, we look like chicken shits who can't take a joke, and maybe even a little bit cowardly. So which do you want to do?
Well,
it is probably best for you to make an appearance and take your medicine. However, if any of you cannot handle that, if your tempers get out of control, that would be fatal.
Remember the caveat: 1 inch outside of the line.
And they're probably going to do what they can to push so that we step out of line.
Most assuredly.
how many hours do we have left in the evening?
Far too many if you go to the party. And as you remember from your wild night of partying with a certain former student, time disappears relatively quickly when you begin imbibing.
Sorry to ask, but do you mind if we take our 10-minute break right now? Because I just have an issue that I have to take care of real quick.
Nope, not a problem. It's 26 after the hours. Let's come back here at 36 after the hour. Let's round to an even 40. That works?
All right, thank you.
All right, sounds like a plan. Hi, folks. Is everybody back?
I'm here.
Present.
Here,
Right.
but sorting out my mess.
Okay. Was that one moment or back?
No, I'm here, but because I'm just sorting out my meds, so if I'm quiet at first.
Okay. So what was the decision in regards to heading to the social firing squad?
Are we still in the car we stole?
Yes.
Okay.
And Lucio speaking in character right now, I am in no particular mood to deal with anyone's shit right now. I will compose myself as necessary, but I really, really want to do everything we can to get Vivi ASAP.
Well, then right there is your excuse. I had to wash my hair, I suppose.
I'm all for saying we rather jump right on finding Vivi, so we couldn't stay.
So the gathered consensus is
Autobots roll out.
Yes, let us go. Lingering too long does not support your story.
But you might want to text Courteous or something and tell him we were jumping right to work.
I will pass my phone over to Melinda and ask her, can you please type the message? It's not working for me anymore.
I can do that. Yes. And Melinda will type message.
okay. So go ahead and type in Melinda's message in the IC messaging in lieu of Lucio typing it. What does she actually type? And while that's happening, you all make your way out of the building. You make your way out of the Elysium. You make your way out to the car, and as far away from this moment, because it is a moment that you all keep getting stuck in. Your feet held to the fire, but you somehow are able to walk away. The blade of Damocles' sword descending precipitously, and you all manage to have it slide down your back instead of through the top of your skull. You all, through dint of associations made along the way, are able to dance around the full conflagration of flames that seek to devour all that you are. Making it to the car that you absconded with. Where is it that is on the coteries agenda to alight?
Your place may be safer than mine.
Sorry, I just realized I was muted. Should we head back to the shelter?
Yes, because I want to check in, but at the same time, I am worried about what might be waiting there for us, or who might be waiting there for us.
Well, then that makes our jobs easier if she's already there.
Yeah, God, collateral damage. Okay, yep, let's go.
There's an often touted philosophy that one's home is one's castle. It began back in the late 40s and early 50s when the head of the household was always male and the king of the castle, but it has been broadened since its origination, since its entering into the public zeitgeist, and since the American public zeitgeist where it originated, to include your home should be inviolate. In fact, it is on the books for many states as being attacked in your home is defensible for nearly most lethal responses, as it is considered the last and final place one can retreat to for safety and sanctuary. Being attacked in your sanctuary gives you license to all manner of vicious and violent responses. As such, as the coterie heads to the shelter, and Silvio takes a trip around the block, first one way, then the other, till finally pulling into the parking garage and parking on the nearest upper floor. It seemed as in those quick passes that he was able to scope out the most likely means of egress into the building. And from the parking garage is on the second floor, where the bridge into the actual non-shelter structure portion of the shelter is actually accessible. Most people upon the first couple of glances wouldn't know that, but it is clear that he has made his way to several facilities on a multiplicity of instances. And the two circuits were to ensure that your moments are your own, not impeded upon, not surprised by, or otherwise engaged by other people. When he eases to a stop and gets out and opens the door, there's a look that transpires between him and Sophia before he clears his throat. You know, I would never, in case you guys put anything untoward, just we gotta be safe considering the last time we exited or were getting ready to enter back into a limousine, there was a shot that appeared out of nowhere.
I feel at this place that your vigilance is warranted.
Hestia gives Silvio a squint, but then smiled at him. It's fine, dude. We get it. You're doing your job. And we appreciate that you're doing your job. So, yeah, no problem.
What time of the night is it currently?
Roughly between midnight and 2:30.
As a reminder, where precisely did we leave Arsenio? Was it at Sophia's Haven, or was it at a medical facility?
Sophia's Haven.
I was about to address that, yep. That's why I asked what time it was. So do you have a place to put your man, your Arsenio, or do you want me to keep him on ice for a while?
I think we have a medical facility here that we could use. Am I right, Hestia?
It's more a morgue than a medical facility. It used to be a hospital, but the hospital is mostly in disrepair. Though we do have spare rooms. And we have some medical equipment we can move into the room. So, makeshift doctor.
It is no problem if you wish to leave him where he is, and if any of you wish to stay near him, that is also not a problem. But I thought perhaps you might like to take custody of him again.
I would.
Yeah, so we can make it happen. I just gotta get some of the stuff from the other floors and move it into one of the open rooms.
Perhaps we should arrange it for first thing tomorrow.
Did we have Silvio drive him here now, if he can?
We could certainly.
Okay. Maybe I should go with him.
I don't want to split the party right now. Last time that happened, bad things happen. And every time that happens, bad things happen. So, I hate to say it, but we're gonna have to be stuck to each other like...
I mean, we could all go,
But
that is
she's-
no matter. We could
Fair
all
enough.
go.
Okay, but just give me like maybe 20 minutes to get the room together, then we can go pick him up and then bring him back here. That's fine with me. It's not gonna take me long. I know where most of the things in this building are. So just give me a minute. And she goes about getting the bare minimum of what would be needed to be considered like a medical suite. Like an IV pole and some other shit, and sets it up in one of the empty rooms that previously belonged either to Simone or somebody else.
Two rolls from you. Intelligence plus medicine, DC 3. And then wits. No. Resolve plus wits. And while Hestia is buzzing around and gathering things left and right, is there anything that is being discussed? Are there any points being made? Because it's fine having the ideas, that's fine making the plans, setting the expectations mentally. But one of the many facets of communication involves presenting the information as best as possible to others, so there's a clear understanding. It's often one of the many steps left out of the idea of creating a fail-safe plan.
So I do apologize for the exchange that got at least lukewarm between me and the Castiglione boy. But that is no matter now. How do we catch this Vivi? We need to buckle down and come up with a solid plan instead of conjectures.
Well, she can't get revenge on Redwood anymore, so she'll likely do one of two things. Come after us, or go even harder against Don Castiglione. Her last message to me was, "Why didn't you finish the job?"
Well, now you finished the job, yes?
Yes, we did.
What are the chances you can bring her in amenably? I'm sure you have some sort of connection with her.
The last time we spoke, it It sounded like she was dripping venom from her mouth when speaking to me. She is not happy with us.
So I will take that as slim to none.
I'm going to be honest. I don't know if I want to bring her mentally, because
It is a shame they dispatched your former companion. It seems like he would have been perfect bait.
yes. God. I don't know. Well, I do know what I was thinking when I sired her, but if we bring her in alive, there is a chance they might find out, and and therefore every one of us, will be put to final death. I don't think we can take that risk.
That would be most unadvantageous.
And on top of that, leaving her alive has only led to more problems for us, and has led to endangering not only us, but also my family.
I don't think anyone can disagree that if she is going against the Castiglione family as a whole, and given what she has done, that it might not be unlikely that the only way you could apprehend her was by destroying her.
I'm just feeling I still feel conflicted, even though I know this is the right thing to do, and even though I said beforehand that I know she needs to die, and I was prepared at the time. Now, with a bit more of a rational, maybe not rational, but with more of my faculties to myself, I'm still confused.
No, I understand. It is one thing to say a thing, it is another thing to do it. However, unless you are finding your inner Boy Scout and willing to sacrifice your own life for hers, I do not believe there is another way.
I'm not, but I brought her into the night, and for what? Just to kill her a week later?
I do not believe, in light of everything else, that you will get lenience if you decide to do the right thing.
Oh, the joys of being a vampire.
You made a rash decision, and as with all the rash decisions, one way or another, you must live with that now.
By making sure she doesn't.
Or dying in her stead, though I can promise you, if I understand your laws correctly, that even if you die in her stead, her life is still forfeit.
That would be correct.
Is Hestia dead?
As they talk and mull over plans to indicate how to move forward with the very real guilt of BB's continued existence, Asher takes a moment, unbiddenly, as she stands in the remainder of what was formerly Simone's room. And by far one of the larger suites of rooms that had been put together, walls knocked down and doorways made and rebuilt and refortified. his rack of silk shirts and plaques and the treasure trove of different fabrics, all of a certain sumptuousness all about it. Hestia looks on the rack and ruin that was left behind. And then the thing that stands out most glaringly is that here you are almost a year and some change later, since this grand adventure had begun, since the toll of missing souls had ratcheted up to the point where it was undeniable and unable to be ignored any longer. And if Hestia is being completely honest with herself, there's nothing personal in this one. There's nothing definitively attributable. It's a closet. A being had lived and existed here, and the only thing left that could personify them are the memories. The colognes are off the rack. The small few pieces of object the art are not personal. They don't have any inherent idealized value to that person, because who they were is and was a cipher to you. Lots of half answers, lots of responses instead of answers, lots of questions answered with more questions, twisted into a tapestry signifying nothing.
Hestia typically isn't prone to fits of anger or temper, but seeing that literally, even in death or not being here, he's still alive. He's still something that he wasn't portraying himself to be. This is Zerah. And very short order, the objects of art are getting tossed around the room, smashed. She's hucking his bottles of cologne out into the hallway, smashing them against the wall. And it's almost comical to see somebody 4'8" attempt to jump like a basketball player and grab onto hangers that are too high for her to reach on her own, and like hang from them, ripping down silk shirts just to hear them rip until there is a nest of shredded rainbow silk at her feet, and even though she doesn't need to breathe, she is like panting in anger, and then looks around and just kind of like yells, "Fuck! I hate him so much," and then just storms back out of the room to finish what she was in the process of doing.
The catharsis of goodbye is something that we never realize we need until we are well in the midst of it. Of all of the souls lost along the way, either to their own devices or to their own aims, there is a balance that was immediately noticeable in the absence. There was a balance that a bill that is yet unpaid, though this is clearly an installment of such. The catharsis of goodbye is called many things. Some people call it closure. Some people call it the 7 stages of grief. The truth of the matter is, it is literally a check we write in our own blood with our own emotions. Because the secret to existence lies in not being that other person. It is not them. It is always us. Those people have the opportunity with the keys of their personality, their persona, their care, their adoration to unlock within us those feelings we ascribe to them. I'm so in love with you, or you light up my life, or you irk me so much. All of those feelings, all of that emotion is from the furnace and hearth that is our heart and our minds. And there is an unpaid portion of it. There is a inherent value to them being near enough to inspire those emotions in us. There is an inherent value in the respect they have for our time, and the respect they have for the things that matter to us. And there is an inherent value that truly priceless. And winded and tired. Not physically, because kindred don't truly get tired physically. It's the remembrance of the buildup of lactic acid. It is the assailing of their minds. It is the only portion of them that actually exists really, wholly, fully in the moment they inhabit their minds. It's the reason why, as time gets away and each moment runs into the next, and those moments turn into decades, centuries, epochs, many older kindred took and take to writing down their memories, their insights on their memory. And looking forward to that portion when today is the only time frame that really matters, when yesterday is the only time frame that really matters, and tomorrow being part of the only time frame that really matters. In the moment, in the now, there is the very real spirit of saying goodbye. There is the measure of dealing with Vivi. And while the minds are made up and the heart is in it, and it's a logical idea to pragmatically end their existence, the truth of the matter is, it's a goodbye. And that's where the pain is. It's a finality, no longer having the idea of her out there in the world, living the best example that they can of their facsimile of life. And when being completely honest, it is not solely because Vivi mattered. It is what Vivi represents. The living will, an immortal testament to the value that Dizzy had and has in everyone's heart, in everyone's mind. The sound of chewing gum in the distance as conversations most sensitive were had. The twirling of a hair to distract from the shrewd mind at the base of all of that social camouflage. And so as everyone gathers, the plan clear to head back to Sophia to remove Arsenio from her care. And you all exit the shelter and look once more back at its building, the edifice that it is, all of the hidden security features built into place via Simone's efforts, all of the mystical ones put into place due Hestia's effort. And as Sylvia opens the back door of the car, Hestia realizes that everyone was inside the shelter. And while there was a thrum, a tremor, there wasn't a sharp, crashing pain, an annoying buzz in the ear, slight vibration to the limbs. And even dead, it seems that mankind can adapt to any state of being, including that of being perpetually at pain. So as you all trundle in and load up and begin having perhaps the last conversation you will in regards to what steps to take, how far are you willing to go, and what exactly are you going to do with Vivi, I'd like to thank you all for a lovely session, and I look forward to seeing you all next week. Thank you all. Have a nice night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you
Thanks
for the
all.
session.
Good night.